ghosts and goblins out there. I am Andrew,
I'm Ashton.
And I'm Sean.
and we are the Night Scholars, exploring the mystifying world. Cryptids, ghosts, ghouls, and all things supernatural. Today, we are talking about one of the most feared creatures in the northern forests of the Atlantic coast that stalks its prey all the way from the Great Lakes through Appalachia, the Windigo. Alright guys, how we feeling today?
Well, it is 70 degrees and it hasn't stopped raining for 2 days, which I'll take over last week.
I will too. We probably got a foot of snow in 2 days.
I
Dang.
think I got about a foot of rain.
Yeah, it only really just started raining here last night and today. It's allegedly going to get worse throughout the weekend, but
I mean, I'll take warm weather and rain over snow, so.
I mean, snow tends to lead to horrible things, like the creature we're discussing today.
how do we keep choosing topics that are all about the terrors of the snow? I think we just want Andrew to get got.
I mean,
I think so too.
I believe we've covered at least two creatures that have been seen in Appalachia, so.
Look, one day we will find the creature that is responsible for your future death.
Oh, that's fun.
The
Wait a
entire
minute.
point of this, the entire point of this podcast is actually just to solve Andrew's death before it happens.
It might be. I mean, I did used to joke about going into the woods and fist fighting a Wendigo.
That is a terrible idea.
It probably is.
But as he told us before he started the episode, he's not an average human.
No, I am not.
He is, in fact, not.
No, I can assume.
In
All right.
fact, he is actually literally a bear.
I am. I am about the size of a black bear. So yeah, that's about right. Speaking of black bears, they are the state animal of West Virginia. Beautiful creatures. That's kind of a little tangent there, but I absolutely love black bears. They're probably my favorite animal.
Would you be upset
And
if
here I
a
thought-
Wendigo ate one?
I mean, would I see the Windigo eat it?
Which one would make you more upset?
I mean, if I just saw one that was eaten, I'd probably just assume it was another type of predator, or like buzzard vultures. If I saw it eating it, I think I'd just be upset either way, having to see a Wendigo. I mean, it'd be worse if it was if it was eating a black bear. But I mean, either way, it'd be pretty upsetting to see one.
Probably, but at least if it's chowing down on a black bear, then you're safe for the moment.
Yeah, might
But
give me
Sean,
enough
how would
time
you
to get away.
describe this creature that Andrew would see?
All right. According to Basil Johnston, an Ojibwe teacher and scholar, or apologies if I'm pronouncing that tribe wrong, the Windigo was gaunt to the point of emaciation. Its desiccated skin pulled tautly over its bones. With its bones pushing out against its skin, its complexion the ash gray of death, its eyes pushed back deep into their sockets, the Windigo looked like a gaunt skeleton recently disinterred from the grave. What lips it had were tattered and bloody, unclean and suffering from the separation of the flesh. The Windigo gave off a strange and eerie odor of decay and decomposition, of death and corruption. This particular person did not say anything about its voice, but I did see in many other versions of it said that it could mimic human voice.
That is something. I don't know if it was with the Skinwalker or with this creature, where it talks about it can mimic a human voice, but it sounds kind of off, kind of like an old, tin radio kind of sound.
Everything that you said just sounds absolutely terrifying. Like, I think I agree with you, Andrew, that if I saw that in person, even if it wasn't directly coming after me to eat me, I would still be very freaked out if I saw a creature that looked like that.
No, I would be too. the descriptions I've heard and that I've read of them, normally it'll put their height around 7 to 8 feet tall. The largest I've heard
Mm-hmm.
them being, which I don't know if it's accurate, it was only one place I found it saying it's this big, is 14 feet tall. Which 7 to 8 feet is scary, but something 14 feet tall, that big, is just terrifying.
Yeah, I did see
14
one
foot tall
description.
skeleton? Nope.
I saw a description of it where each time that it consumed something, it would continue to grow. And the more that
Mm.
it grew, the more that it had to eat. Across all of the descriptions, there's always the insatiable hunger, but for that one, it seems like it grows obnoxiously long or large. And this one in particular is made of ice. I don't really know where the reference to that came from, but I thought that was kind of interesting because
Um,
it's very different than all the other ones that I've seen.
I never saw the one that said it was completely made of ice. Most of the ones I found said its heart was frozen.
Some of them
Eh,
do say this completely made out of ice. I believe you're looking at the cryptid wiki, or is it the Legends of America? Because one of those two say that.
I'm sure I found a lot of scholarly resources.
Yeah, it's. I was asking Ashton, but yeah, that is sometimes the description. A lot of it is the heart's frozen to it being like an ice giant type of deal. Like I've heard that description. The one they're mostly known for is the description you gave. Another description of it, which is more made from pop culture, more so than from the folklore of the creature itself, is it's still, emaciated, right? This tall, emaciated creature, but it often gives them more of like the body of an animal, like a deer. It still stands upright, but it has like fur and it's missing patches and it's missing chunks of its skin, and it has the deer skull and the antlers. Um, that's more of a pop culture thing than being based in the
Mm-hmm.
actual folklore of the creature. But that is another description that you can find of it that people will tell in stories about the creature.
14 feet tall with antlers and a deer skull sounds like the version from um uh Guillermo del Toro's Antlers movie.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
that does sound
Not a
about
good
right.
movie, but not a good
Uh,
movie. But
was Daniel
but a
Radcliffe
creepy
the
creature.
Wendigo?
No, sadly he wasn't.
I thought about watching that a while
But
back, but I never did.
you're not missing much.
Yeah,
It's read the short story. It's based off called The Boy. I don't remember who it's by, but it is so creepy. So much
yeah.
creepier than the movie.
Nice.
I mean, every encounter I've heard of people dealing with these things are extremely creepy.
Yeah, I've
Um,
heard that it really likes to play with its prey, and because most of the accounts that I've seen say that like what's more horrifying about it is the fact that humans can turn into this creature,
They can.
and so they
mhm.
have the intelligence of a human that is actively stalking human prey.
I did see one tribe description of the one of the Algonquins, and to say that the longer the Wendigo ate flesh, the less of its soul it had, and that's what made it stronger.
Yeah, I saw that too, and that a lot of them don't live very long, but the ones that do have completely dismissed any bit of humanness. Like I saw that at the beginning, they actively try to work against this insatiable hunger that they have, or they'll try to eat like other animals first. But if they have to,
Mhm.
they resort to eating humans. And then
It's that
as time goes
desperation.
on, yeah, but as time goes on, they stop caring.
Yeah.
Desperation led them to it. Desperation will consume them. Basically, it's what I got out of a lot of these origins.
I mean, the way it says people become it normally is they will enact in like they will partake in the taboo act of a lot of times eating somebody. I mean, the spirit itself is the spirit of hunger. Some say the spirit of greed, right? Because you can never have enough. Which is why they're always they're always starving. They always need more and more and more food.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting way to put it.
I actually found this incredibly interesting video on YouTube by this guy named Thought Potato, who went into the biology of the Wendigo. And oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Like, it talks about the origin where in a situation where you are in extreme cold and you are at a point where there's absolutely like no food around you, that your body starts to go through all of these different stages. It creates this viral reactivation of a PAV virus that has stayed dormant in the human biome. And so, with the mixture of displeasure mixed with hunger and cold, your cortisol levels go up pretty high, and it starts suppressing your immune system. And as that happens with this PAV virus, um, you start to get symptoms that are kind of close to hypothermia, where, and he's describing this as like what a Wendigo could be. I don't know. He has a lot of followers on YouTube. He seemed legit. I don't know as many details as he does. I wrote it down as many as I could, and he says that like it explains why there's a pungent scent because basically the fingers are going dead. And this thing also stimulates the growth hormone in the arms and the legs, and it just expands. And it creates a hyperthyroidism, which explains the increased metabolism. And basically, all of this stuff combined is just creating this like insatiable hunger that can't be fixed because your insulin levels are so high. And that's why like they can't stop consuming and why they eventually die. And like it does all of these things to stretch out all of the bones because all of the blockers are no longer there. So it just keeps growing and growing to get to the 8 foot. And it also explains like the teeth. So like the teeth are always described as kind of like being jagged. And it's because like the teeth just keep like growing because of this like weird virus. And like the jaw can't support it, so it becomes completely unhinged, and the person is just like literally going insane and just becoming this creature. And I thought that was a really cool explanation.
Yeah.
That sounds absolutely terrifying.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, right?
If that's the case, I can understand why some of the legends I found the first time somebody ate human flesh, if their tribe found out about it, they would try to burn them alive so it would stop that, and they couldn't become that thing because I wouldn't want to deal with that thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Did
it
that.
sounds absolutely miserable for the human going through it too.
Yeah, it does. I'm sure it is. Yeah. I did find that article I was talking about earlier, which is the Cryptids Wiki. It does say the Wendigo can be the size of a human, up to 15 feet tall.
No.
I just want you to think about that,
I see if
like what Ashton just described. Big, jagged teeth, jaw unhinged, long arms, claw-like hands at that point, because again, the bones just keep growing. Just imagine a 15 feet tall, emaciated humanoid with deep sunken in eyes just coming towards you. That
the
sounds...
skin that doesn't quite fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and they have hypothermia, so they can withstand the cold way better than you can.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, it makes sense that they wouldn't. When you think about their origins, they were cold and they were starving, and when they ate the human flesh most of the time, so it would make sense that they wouldn't have much skin on them and be Permanently hypothermic.
Yeah, and like the reason their lips are like in your description, Sean, the way that like how their lips are all torn open and bloody, that's because of the hunger. They start eating their own lips.
Mm-hmm. Now, Andrew, you live in prime Windigo country. How do you feel about these descriptions?
Oh, I mean, I hope I never have to deal with one. Again, I used to joke about fist fighting them. That's when I thought they were like 6 to 8 feet tall. Once I found out they could be much bigger, like my chances wouldn't have been good to begin with. Um, but as it grows larger, my chances continue to diminish of me being able to survive the encounter.
I'm honestly so shocked
You
to
are,
hear this. I just assumed that you would be able to take a cryptid other than a squonk.
I mean, I would just be
you know,
friends with
he's
the
not an
squonk.
average person.
Um, yeah, like even like like Bigfoot. Again, my chances wouldn't be good, but like there's a chance. With these things though too, they're unnaturally strong and unnaturally fast, which again would make my chances or anybody's chances not good.
Yeah, I mean, that's not necessarily true because I have heard those accounts, but I have heard ones where there's not really anything special about them apart from just basically their body deforming. So you could find one that's not unnaturally strong or fast.
Well, yeah, I mean
Baby Wendigo.
if it's just like some miserable being because of what it's going through, like in your what you read, probably just put it out of its misery, to be honest, because I think that just sounds absolutely horrifying to have to go through.
Oh no, at that point they are so desperate to eat that they will lure you to your death. It's just more of so a matter of like, you're looking for somebody in the woods or you're lost and they're trying to call to you and you're like, "Oh wow, that sounds like my mom or my sister." And then all of a sudden, nope, that's a cannibal. Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Exactly.
Oh wait, does that make Shia LaBeouf a Wendigo?
No, he's just a
I always thought he
cannibal.
was just a skinwalker.
He's not that far yet. Maybe he is. I don't know.
Maybe he has the Wendigo fever.
I mean, to
You
be
know,
fair
Andrew,
though,
if
this is why anytime I'm in the woods, I carry a gun.
guns aren't much use against this thing, only fire. That's one thing every legend I found agrees upon is the only way to kill it is to burn every part of it to ash. The bones, the heart, the blood, if you somehow manage to make it bleed.
Oh, I'm glad you're here because all I saw was make sure to shoot it twice and aim
Yeah, no,
specifically
most
for
of
the
the
head
legend.
and heart. But no, I guess you have to burn it alive also.
I mean, it depends on
Yeah,
which story you go with. Um, but yeah, folks, if you
burning
hear
its
your
heart.
mother calling you deeper from the woods, like don't go towards it.
Well, it could be on the edge of the woods. The Wendigo is very good at making, like, he's basically a ventriloquist. He can project his voice wherever he wants to and has an incredible range.
But what if your mother went ahead of you in the woods and you know she's back there?
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
pay attention to my surroundings. I would have no idea where my mother was in the woods.
No, I do. Like when
Oh,
my sister and I go on hikes, like I make sure she's right next to me.
yeah, but my mom tends to wander off, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're a kid in the store. Did your mom ever, like, stay next to you, or did she just kind of wander off and then you were just, like, alone, desperately searching for them at some point?
Oh, hey, go grab this, and I say, okay, wait right here. And now my mom uses a riding cart now, right? She doesn't walk too well anymore. Like here's saying, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
walking with her, she goes extremely slow. But the second I walk away, she is halfway across that store.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's why you can't trust it. They could be literally anywhere. Like moms just are notorious for disappearing.
And they are.
I also have something where the Wendigo is known for plaguing people with nightmares and fear, and it creates like reports of people running stark naked in the woods in the dead of night for absolutely no reason. Have you guys seen anything else about Wendigo fever?
I haven't heard
I saw it.
of the nightmares thing, although people with hyperthermia normally tend to do that anyway. Is something about it that makes them like lose their head, kinda. Because when you first get hyperthermia, you start to after a while you start to feel extremely hot, which is like a lot of times, like the people they find who die of, they take off their boots, they take off their pants, their shirts, and they find them wearing little to no clothes from the hyperthermia. Like it does something to their brain that makes them go crazy.
I did see a couple mentions in my research of Windigo disorder. I couldn't get a clear picture of it, other than that it's a possibility that it's a real thing. That there's at least a disease that I think it makes people act like Windigo, or make them think that they're Windigo. I couldn't get a very clear answer on it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's the same PAV virus that I was listening to the story on.
Maybe.
But yeah, I've also heard that there were reports of people just using it as an excuse, because anytime that there's a cryptid, then it creates a very convenient excuse for getting away with cannibalism, or at least back in the day.
I did see that was a trial a few years ago. Where a native man was accused of murder, and his defense was that she was turning into a Wendigo, and he had to stop her.
Yeah, I
Wow.
believe it. I have another one of Jack Fiddler and his brother Joseph, who were arrested for the deaths of 12 people, and they claim that they did it and that they should be pardoned because all of them were possessed and were becoming Wendigos, I think.
Well, that's interesting. How'd they survive?
Jack and his
Is
brother,
anything? Yeah.
just like Andrew, they're not your average person.
Exactly.
So, Ashton, I know you don't consume as much media as me or Andrew. Do you know of any descriptions of the Wendigo in pop culture? Have you seen any movies or TV with them?
No, the only mention that I've really seen of it is just like a very brief mention in Pet Cemetery. But unfortunately, that's all it is. Like, I just kept waiting for Stephen King to go into more detail about them, and he never does. So it's just like, I want to learn about this creature. So I guess I had to go and do my own research about it. And then I haven't watched
About
it,
you,
but I've
Andrew?
also heard that it's in Hannibal.
I haven't seen that episode of Hannibal either, but I did see that it was referenced in that show. Andrew, what about you?
uh, not too much outside of like other podcasts and stories and supposed encounters with them. I mean some people do say the creature that was in Pet Cemetery, or what caused the pets to rise from the dead, was a Wendigo. I mean, I
See,
don't know.
Interesting power.
yeah, and see, that's where it makes absolutely no sense to me at all, because, like, it was Native American tribalism, hocus pocus, whatever, that was able to bring them back. But
It was built on a Native American burial ground.
Pretty
yeah,
much.
Every
but
premise from a story by a white man.
the creature
Found an
was
entire
already dead
article.
ahead of time, though.
What'd you say, Ashton? I didn't hear that last part.
I was saying, but the creatures were already dead, though, so I just don't see that lining up with the Wendigo culture or lore that I've found so far.
I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
probably doesn't have to line up. I mean, it's just if Stephen King says that's what it was, I mean, he could be wrong, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I all hail King Stephen.
No, I'm saying he's allowed to be wrong. Like
No, he is not. All hail King Stephen.
he's all right.
He is our king, King Stephen.
Yeah,
How dare you slander the great Stephen King?
that's all right. He trashed what used to be my favorite author. So
He's allowed to do so because he is a king.
yeah, I don't remember the guy's name
How many times are you
anymore.
gonna make
It
that
was
pun?
Patterson, Chris Patterson. or something.
You don't even know
James.
his name,
James
so it doesn't
James
count.
Patterson. Yeah, that used to be my favorite author.
Well, it doesn't count because you don't know his name.
I got him and Christopher
Anyways.
Poloni confused, because Christopher Poloni is wrote my favorite book series.
I have that book series next to me, except for Murtaugh.
The Inheritance Cycle.
Yep.
I have the entire series, and I also have the deluxe edition, which came out years later. Which is
Nerd.
All right. So, surprisingly, the Windigo is a very popular creature in pop culture. It's been used in. Apparently, it was used in an episode of Charmed. It's the second episode of Supernatural.
I did watch that.
Great episode.
It was, and they were fairly accurate with its the visual aspect of it.
I like how, as the one girl in the group, I have not watched that much Supernatural.
It gets out of hand. It's the best way to describe it. That show goes off the rails so hard.
I've only seen the first few episodes,
Anyway.
so I don't know too much.
I've seen them all, and it's
multiple times, and has a box set.
The box set was given to me.
All right.
And it's just the first 7 seasons. Somebody gave me the box set for free at Dairy Queen.
All right, Sean. How much supernatural fan fiction have you wrote?
None. I don't write fan fiction anymore.
Anymore.
I wrote Stargate fan fiction.
Wait, which one did you prefer? Did you prefer SG-1 or Stargate Atlantis?
I like SG-1, but I really also like Atlantis too. Atlantis was.
I mean, it has Jason Momoa.
A lot of fun. You can't hate Jason Momoa.
I fucking love Jason Momoa.
Anyways, unfortunately, there was no Windigo in Stargate. Probably.
Would have made the show better.
Yeah, probably. They did it well.
I mean, I'm honestly surprised there wasn't in universe, because there was some weird stuff that happened in universe.
Can you please make up a story about that and put it on our potential Patreon?
Yes, I can. But there was also a 2015 video game called Until Dawn, where you as a group of teenagers tried to survive Windigo until dawn.
Oh, is that what it was about? I thought it was like zombies.
Yeah, it was about. Nope, it was Windigo.
I might have to play that.
It's fun. It's hard to keep everybody alive.
There's also a game called it's called Skinwalker Hunter, but the creature is more in line with a Windigo in pulp culture. Not the real description of, but with the deer head skull and the antlers. It's more along that lines of it, but the way it acts is more similar to a Windigo than a Skinwalker.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what would you say the biggest difference is between Skinwalker and Windigo? Because we did an episode on it, but my brain's already washed all of that away.
Let me think. Well, the Skinwalker is Navajo folklore. It's a different thing, and they're more viewed as evil, like witches.
Mm-hmm.
Or medicine men that use their power for evil. And they're more just people that are able to do these things. Meanwhile, the Wendigo is more of a spirit that, in some stories, takes on a physical form.
Gotcha.
Also, Wendigos are much bigger. Although some Skinwalkers, depending on what they're what's the word? Turning themselves into, transmodifying themselves into.
Mm-hmm.
Can be pretty large. Like, the stories from like Skinwalker Ranch, the giant like shadow thing that the guy there saw.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who do you think would win in a fight?
Wendigo.
easily.
Yeah, they're a lot more ferocious. Like if you read
Skinwalker has.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, skinwalkers were kind of afraid of the sun and would just go scurry away, whereas I've heard that Wendigos, some people claim that they can manipulate the weather.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Like when you like a lot of the encounters when people say they've encountered them, have encountered them, like the wind stops blowing, right? It does seem slightly darker wherever you're at, and it's quiet. Like it's eerily quiet. All the sounds of life stop, and then normally then they'll either smell them or they start to feel that overwhelming sense of dread, which is that's always the thing they talk about with Wendigo. Sometimes with skinwalkers too, is you get this overwhelming sense of dread, like something awful is about to happen.
Wouldn't you, if you saw that thing? All I would think about is, oh, this is truly the most unfortunate thing I could have ever seen in my life.
It's before they even see him. Like its presence, it's just like sets off something primal in our brains. Because it is a predator, right? Humans aren't used to being prey anymore. It is something that preys on humans.
Ashton, one difference I would note of Windigo versus Skinwalker is the Windigo is definitely more animalistic. It's not completely animal, but a Skinwalker is trying to blend in, and where the Windigo will just straight up hunt you.
Yeah.
Does not care.
No, the Wendigo sounds scary and attractive.
What do you mean attractive?
Ashton. No. No. No.
There's something about like an unhinged jaw and really long teeth.
Ashton. No.
They need love too.
Oh. We got Andrew with the squonk, you with the Windigo. Oh, what am I gonna?
Hang on. The squonk is my friend. I'm not trying to.
What if it was a lady squonk?
Andrew.
Yeah, still no, not my type.
Andrew.
Yes, sir.
Another famous Appalachia, the Mothman. Do you think it could handle a Windigo?
The Mothman can fly, so I mean that's about it.
I've seen a couple things where the Windigo can jump really high.
Yeah, but jumping and flying's two kind of different things. I don't. I mean, again, in like a battle, I think the Windigo would probably win, just because like if it is unnaturally strong and fast, sure. The Mothman though, I think just wouldn't get caught. I think he would just simply get away.
Okay.
No, we don't know either, because there's no stories that the Mothman ever actually physically hurting anybody or anything. He's more of just like a harbinger kind of deal, right? Like he comes before something bad happens as a warning.
Yeah, he's a cinnamon roll.
I'm not sure what that means.
Honestly, that's a very old meme, so I'm more ashamed of myself for that one.
Does that just mean he's sweet? He's sweet. I mean, he is the best. So.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, he would make a good counterpoint to the Windigo.
Yeah, I mean, in like battle prowess, I don't necessarily see him winning, but I think he just wouldn't allow himself to be caught.
Okay.
You know what I would really like to see is a video game of like all these different cryptids fighting each other, like Street Fighter but cryptid edition.
I would like that. All right, we got to start the Kickstarter for it, guys.
As far as I know, Windigo is not in the Dead by Daylight game.
It's not,
which is truly unfortunate. Probably too broken.
There's also like the some cultural sensitivity around it, right?
That's fair.
Yeah, some people.
I did find an entire article ranting about its its use of the as the antagonist of the white person and making native tribes look bad.
I've seen that, but again, it's not. I mean, it's kind of a boogeyman in native folklore itself, right? I think it's okay
Right.
if we borrow inspiration from different cultures and give them representation. However, though, we need to be more accurate with our representation of it, and we need to be respectful of the things we use in our media, right?
Because it is supposed to be. I mean, yes, there's
The
legitimate
warning.
fear behind it, and it's a boogeyman that some people believe in, some people don't. But at the end of the day, it is still like a metaphor about disbalance and misharmony and a warning against greed.
Yeah.
And I think that brings us to do you believe in it?
I am very curious about this PAB virus and the probability of that actually happening. So I will say a hard maybe.
All right.
Andrew?
Yeah. No, I actually do. This is one of the ones that I actually fear. Yeah, that I do believe in.
Okay. I think that strange things do happen to people who eat flesh. Uh, that maybe they weren't quite sure what was happening to it. So I think the warnings behind it are accurate, but I'm not sure that eating people is going to give you supernatural strength and make you evil. Well, it'll definitely make you
I mean,
evil, but it's not going to give you supernatural strength.
it's not labeled as a guarantee that'll happen. It's just something that can happen.
The
So
more
why
you
don't you
eat, the
eat
more
a
likely it's
person and
going
find
to.
out?
uh,
On that note, come and check us out on Twitter or X or whatever it's called right now. We are just @_Night Scholars on there. And all three of us run the account, so it's about as unhinged as you would think that it would be.
It is. We like having conversations with each other through the account. It's pretty fun.
But sometimes we even like our own responses to things, which doesn't make us look self-centered at all.
It does because if you guys are like me, I have it on mobile and I sometimes forget to switch to my own account. So I'll see it and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's funny." And then I like it. I'm like, "Oh wait, I liked it as the account that posted it."
right?
Honestly, it's a good time. So if you want to come check us out, that would be cool. We would appreciate it. And if you ask us a question on there, we will mention it in an episode.
We sure will.
That's true.
By we mean Ashton will mention it.
We make her do a lot of the work.
And it's not my fault you guys are irresponsible.
Thank you again, our ghosts and goblins, for listening to the Night Scholars. You all be good to each other. Don't answer the scratching at your window.
Or do.
But most importantly, stay safe out there.
Good night.